After all these two people died, that was when I was moved to the front. And by then I was already hardened. I didn't care about anything. I lost my orderly.
Former Gambian military official accused government for abandoning them in Liberia as he testifies at the ongoing TRRC public hearing today. Barely 10 months before the organization of the Islamic Conference Summit in the Gambia, 65 police officers complete intensive training on VIP protection. Russia warned US against military intervention in Venezuela, saying Moscow would stand with the southern American nation to protect its sovereignty. These and more coming on your way on the world today.
It's 10 minutes past midnight in Istanbul and 10 past 1 p.m. in Washington State, 10 past 9 GMT here in the Gambia. You're watching the World Today Evening Bulletin. To begin with, at the 12th sitting of the TRRC this morning, Captain Kambi explains his bitter experience in Liberia, saying they went for a peacekeeping mission in Liberia, but it later ended to be a turning point to their life. Continuing his testimony, Captain Kambi said they were paid $3 a day and faced with insufficient food and were left with no option than to eat gari with sardine. Here is an insight.
The hospital again, the government says at that time that they are not bringing their casualties home because it's going to create a problem back home. People will think their sons are dying. So I was left there to languish in Freetown, in the hospital where they don't have any medicine apart from hydrogen peroxide for dressing my wounds. Because I had my weapons with me, I had my AK-47 and my rounds. One day, one fine morning, the liaison officer who was Lawrence Jara, Captain Lawrence Jara, he was the liaison officer between us and in Liberia and the army here in the Gambia. They came to visit me with Mr. B.O. Fofana, who was then the High Commissioner of Gambia to Sierra Leone. The moment they reached my private ward, I took out my gun. I said, everybody dies or I leave for Gambia today. You know. So the nurses jump on me, everybody in that hospital jump on me, but they could not still take my weapon from me because that was the end. I wanted to come back to Gambia to get my treatment. So B.O. Fofana said, look, we have to arrange something. Then B.O. had to contact British Airways then. And British Airways said, no, they cannot carry me with my weapon. And I also said, no, I'm not surrendering my weapon to anybody. And this is how they went to Ghana Airways. Ghana was part of ECOWAS, ECOMOC. So Ghana accepted me. Ghana Airways accepted me with my weapon. I got into the Ghana Airways flight, came to the Gambia, and then again, I was languishing here. Nothing happened. Nobody cared about treating me. Nothing happened, absolutely. I was just reporting to physiotherapy. All the time, physiotherapy, nothing else. I was walking on crutches. Everybody witnessed that. Even during the parade of ECOMOC soldiers, most people saw me in front of the parade walking on my crutches, those who witnessed that parade.
Stand by.
That was Captain Kambi there emotionally testifying today at the TRRC investigating the causes of the July 22nd military takeover in the Gambia. Barely 10 months before the most anticipated organization of Islamic Conference Summit in the Gambia, senior police officers from the Turkish Police Academy continue to build the capacity of Gambian security men and women. On Wednesday, 65 police officers, 30 traffic officers, and 35 VIP guards graduated from a week-long intensive training at the PIU headquarters in Kanifing. Saja Sambo files in this report.
65 Gambian police officers, 30 of which are traffic officers, on Wednesday graduated from a week intensive training with the police officers at the Police Credit Union headquarters in Kanifing. The 7 days training, which was centered on traffic control and VIP protection, is meant to prepare the Gambia internal force ahead of the much anticipated summit of the Organization of Islamic Conference to be held in the Gambia in November this year. With over 56 heads of states and governments around the world expected to attend the summit, the Gambia government, through the Ministry of Interior and the Office of the Inspector General, is expected to train up to 3,500 police officers before the summit. The Turkish ambassador to the Gambia, His Excellency Ismail Sifa Yusir, said the Gambia-Turkey bilateral relations stands way to independence, and this training funded by his government is complementing the development plan of President Adama Barrow's administration.
We have a very good relationship with the Gambia, not only in the last 2 or 3 years, but for a long time, starting with the independence of the Gambia. During this administration, I mean, His Excellency President Barrow's administration, of course, our relations is on the rise in all fields. So that it's a part of this scheme, cooperation scheme. Turkish police, 2 teams from the Turkish police, they are giving training programs to their Gambian counterparts in order to prepare them for the OIC summit. Yeah.
And 30 are graduated today out of the 3,500 policemen to guard this OIC. Are we seeing more of this training coming from?
Of course, we will have more trainings in the following months and following weeks, and also there will be some trainees, going to Turkey to get training from the Turkish trainers, so that in the next few months we will have 6 or 7 more training programs here.
The former Inspector General of Police and now the advisor to the Office of the Ministry of Interior, Yankuba Sonko, said the Office of the Ministry of Interior remains confident that the Gambia Police Force are solely committed to the security of the summit to the latter. He challenged those trained to train others in various units as such trainings are on the pipeline.
That is the confidence that we have, and we still remain confident that we'll be able to peacefully conduct the OIC conference in the Gambia come to November 2019. This cannot be achieved without the help and assistance from countries like Turkey and other countries who are also helping us. I'm sure with time, in months to come, we'll be engaged on a lot of trainings. This is just the starting, and the ambassador has rightly said, mentioned it here. It's just the start, the beginning of the training. More trainings are coming. I only want the trainees not to waste 10 days training here and then put all their lesson notes into rubbish bin. I'm urging them to use them. It is going to be very important to you in times of crisis during the occasion of the OIC, because you are the people that we rely on as a nation to protect all the 56 heads of states coming into this country.
Isa Abubakar C, Public Relations Officer for the OIC, thanked the entire security system in the country for their steadfastness and cooperation during the course of the 1-week training with the Turkish officials. He said the Gambia Police Force have immensely contributed to the peacekeeping in the sub-region and beyond, raising the flag of the Gambia at the Department of Peacekeeping at the UN House.
I'm here to say thank you to the Gambia Police Force, thank you to the Army, thank you to the SIS, thank you to GRA, particularly all security services, SIS, and then the police. You begin the thanks and you end the thanks. I am speaking up from experience. I was working for Gambia at the United Nations, and I know that the Gambian police has a rising flag at the Department of Peacekeeping Operations. You are not only here because you want to be here, because you are here, you've been screened to be here. And I have no doubt, if we send you to Turkey, you're going to show that Gambia is Gambia.
Given the vote of thanks, ASP Sani of the Sergunda Police Station thanked the Turkish government through the embassy in Banjul, the Gambia government for the opportunity, and colleagues for their cooperation through the course of the training. He said the police trained are well aware of the burden on their shoulders and the challenge ahead of the summit. ASP Sane wouldn't go without urging the media fraternity to be positive in their contribution in information dissemination.
As the saying goes, whom much is given, much is expected. Well, this is a big tax that you have given to us as police officers. And the most important thing that we have learned from our trainers, the most important word that I always hear from them is way of approach and the discipline. Because without a good approach, you fail in any activity that you are doing. Well, we thank our trainers. They have been so much patient with us, and then we have learned a lot as far as traffic management is concerned, both the Motor Traffic Act and the regulation. Well, as we are approaching the OIC, I believe what we have learned here, we can be able at least to deliver outside as expected as police officers. I will have to touch the social media. Well, as far as road safety is concerned, you are also part of us. Be ready at least also to contribute as far as this OIC is concerned. We police officers, we will not at least sit back and see things going in a wrong direction. So you, the social media, as the saying goes, if information could save your life, you need information you can trust, because every day is a new day. This is our country. Anything that you see that could at least hinder the Gambian people or at least cause loss of life, you have the right at least to put it on the media so that some of us could behave well.
With many more training anticipated in the future ahead of the OIC summit in November, the graduated 65 police officers of both men and women were handed over with certificates for their achievements. For Africa TV News, I am Sajo Sambu.
Russia on Thursday warned the U.S. against military intervention in Venezuela. In an interview, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei said Moscow would stand with Venezuela to protect its sovereignty. It came a day after the U.S. recognized Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido as the interim president of the country, marking the most significant escalation in the ongoing feud between Washington and Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. Maduro has slammed the decision and said his country was cutting off diplomatic relations with the U.S., giving American diplomats rather 72 hours to leave the country. Russia said they are warning against military invasion, adding such a move would trigger a catastrophic scenario. Last December, Russian Defense Ministry sent 2 bombers Tu-160 to Maiquetía Airport outside Venezuela capital Caracas, saying it was to train Venezuela to defend itself from any aggression. Venezuela has been rocked by protests since January 10th, when Maduro was sworn in for a second term following a vote boycotted by the opposition. The second edition of the annual Janjanbureh Kankurang Festival ended over the weekend at the provincial town of Janjanbureh in Central River Region. Organized by the community of Janjanbureh in collaboration with the National Center for Arts and Culture, Gambia Tourism Board and Youth Empowerment Project, the festival brought together thousands of people within and outside the country. Lamin AFF's Dabo gives us more on that.
The second edition of the annual Janjanbureh Kankurang Festival ended over the weekend at the provincial town of Janjanbureh in Central River Region. Organized by the community of Janjanbureh in collaboration with the National Center for Arts and Culture, Gambia Tourism Board and Youth Empowerment Project YEP. The festival brought together thousands of people within and outside the country. Speaking at the ceremony, the governor of Central River Region, Mr. Suleiman Bari, said he is delighted and honored to preside over the second edition of the Kankurang Festival in the beautiful island of Janjanbureh. He said the festival provides the unique opportunity for people to showcase the culture and rich history of Janjanbureh.
It's a very great pleasure for me to extend our warmest greetings and sincere gratitude to all of you for joining us in celebrating this Kankuran Festival on this beautiful island of Janjanbureh, which is a very significant event for the islanders. And I want to encourage all of you to take home and enjoy the festival for the next few days. The Janjanbureh Festival, Kankuran Festival, as we all know, offers a very perfect opportunity to experience the very best of Janjanbureh's unique tradition and rich history. The festival also will serve as the basis for binding the people together and making us feel proud of our unique culture and heritage, and by extension, helping us build a very cohesive community. Festivals of this nature can undoubtedly create great opportunity for the positive growth of the social and economic lives of the community, particularly the young people.
Speaking at the ceremony, the European Union ambassador to the Gambia said the Gambia economy is based on two drivers, agriculture and tourism, which are both seasonal.
The Gambia's economy is largely based on two drivers, tourism and agriculture. These two drivers are both seasonal and do not allow Gambian people to work throughout the year, with farmers only able to work about 6 months during the rainy season, and those employed in the tourism sector rarely able to work outside the tourism season, also lasting just about 6 months. Both are left facing half a year with the harsh difficulties of unemployment. Furthermore, these two sectors, unfortunately, very little reinforce each other. On one hand, Gambian agricultural products are rarely consumed in hotels and restaurants, whilst on the other hand, only a small portion of international visitors ventured so far upcountry to contribute to the local economies and enjoy the agricultural produce offered in rural areas.
Afelen nara jangam famaje me alon ko afanam be lorim be wonyine to ba mela flese do man nim fono nye ni ko dembal nyako e ko aboda mansa konko tundo to sade juma kian kuinala nyakunda kian kuinala nyakunda nyin kankurango dembal nyako boda wolto isa fono nye ko ciosano do kuma membe je kain kankurango bondi
alhamdulillah rabbil alamin ngina mudamani nyakoti ni amo real kankurango ngina mo real kankurango ti ciosanol bebe ndaba ni jibe roke il faut mbal na nyimu real original kankurango ngolde kabirin dol fañol more than 300-400 years nyen kankurango is surviving nyen kankurango be sigiri kilim fole ala koto muso mi ala ko inana man si ala kulli kenoto ni sida ala kulli ni nyaaya ko na je da si ala kulli kenoto so nyimu real korkala lati katilin jalo la o manke kaside ka jalo muda keso da karola o manke kaside anon jalolu ifananu be jama kono be adole kono ifananu ga baja roke molla men yalon ko wollel mu ila balama moldi anu wobe dara nara abe temberin dulal do dame yalon ko mari muso ita fono nye alka den kilomètre la o mune The Janjanbureh Festival is one of the most popular cultural events ever organized and staged in provincial Gambia, according to history. For iAfrica TV News, Lamin AFF Esdabo reporting.
That was Lamin Dabo reporting from Janjanbureh, a provincial town in the central part of the Gambia. Coming up after the break, the UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process has warned the Security Council of the dangerous dynamics of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, adding that those who believe that the conflict can be managed permanently are wrong.
menna Senegal sulo ye mako ya rakiranye anin peri tamnaloto ye je rakiranye anin moto ba ko wamuna problem ngani yonye yele nyoy nganye bali tota ngase kanye marse ko ngata ta fay ba ko te
masakunda men fo chemsi woto ni masakunda fo da ba ko den kol dani nyanda sonnale nyamoy fayje
run musolu sari be yankam ka to kono ni nga fero so to mbimbota nyi marché kono bara hani fere ka sekiri to ma so na man kesti roti andu man dara man kan ya jembe so tiari marché bunda to nyami
musol nak suñ ko waxe moy jigen ñi mu nekk programme nga xamne nañ leen ko indil fini ci Eye Africa TV luñ ci juplu nak mo nekk ne bepp jigen bu nga xamne mu ngi fini ci biir rewi Gambia ya xam ngay daan sa doole ya xam nga nekk ci li nga xamne moy jëfé wala nga xamne moy li la yokka diñ la lañ la ko fini dinañ dem be fi nga xamne fofu la jigen ñi nekk di daan seen doole wala li nga xamne tamit moy seen jëfé ñu indil leen ko fi waxtaan yeen bokk ko ak askan wi programme bi nak ngeen di ak man mi seen xarit Masire Diop àllarba bu jot juróom benn waxtu su jotee mu juróom benn waxtu su tegalee fan minute bu leen ko raté
Welcome back. We remind you that you're watching the World Today Evening Bulletin. Let's now take a look at the remaining stories. The UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process has warned the Security Council of the dangerous dynamics of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, adding that those who believe that the conflict can be managed permanently are wrong. Nikolai Maldanov said the possibility of establishing a viable Palestinian state had been eroded by facts on the ground. Masri Job files in this report.
The UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process warned the Security Council on the dangerous dynamics of the Israel-Palestinian conflict, adding that those who believe that the conflict can be managed permanently are wrong. Speaking to the Security Council from Geneva, Nicolas Maldanov said the possibility of establishing a viable, contiguous Palestinian state has been systematically eroded by the fact on the Palestinian side. Maldanov said there were growing pressures on the foundation of the future Palestinian states, many of them imposed by the decades of occupation and international diversions.
I call on Palestinian leaders to engage constructively with Egypt and act decisively to resolve the political impasse by ensuring the full implementation of the 2017 Cairo Agreement. One thing is certain: Palestinian sovereignty and statehood will remain an impossibility without genuine unity. There can be no state in Gaza, and there can be no state without Gaza.
For his part, the Palestinian ambassador Riyad Mansour called for immediate action to advance the realization of a two-state solution before it was too late. He said Israel was exploiting international paralysis on the matter by presiding with its illegal policies and practices, colonizing Palestinians' land and pushing peace prospects further away.
Day by day, the occupation is destroying the two-state solution and sowing deep despair among our people. This is especially acute among our youth, who have known only the oppression and dehumanization of foreign occupation and blockade all their lives, and who are losing hope for a better future and losing trust in the promises of peace and justice made to them by their leadership and the international community. Israel, the occupation power, is flagrantly on with its illegal settlement campaign, mockery of international law, and of the Security Council's credibility.
The history of the Israel-Palestinian conflict began with the established state of Israel in 1948. This conflict came from the intercommunal violence in mandatory Palestinian between Israelis and erupted into full-scale hostilities. Israelis and Arabs have been fighting over Gaza on and off for decades. It's part of the wider Arab-Israeli conflict. For iAfrica TV News, I am Asri Job.
The Turkey President Erdogan concluded a day-long state visit in Moscow where he met his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin for their first face-to-face meeting of 2019. Security in the region, especially in the Syria and commercial relations between the two countries, stopped their discussions. Our reporter Al-Hassan Sise gives us more on that.
Turkish Erdogan arrived in the early hours of Wednesday to meet his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin for their first face-to-face meeting of 2019. Speaking at the meeting, President Putin said that in 10 months of 2018, the Russian-Turkish trade turnover increased more than all of the previous year. He also said that the growth in the number of Russian tourists, which increased by 30% last year, reaching a record figure of 6 million people, so how the citizens of their countries perceive the change, nature and quality of Russian-Turkish relations. Erdogan, for his part, stressed that developments on tourism help Turkish and Russian people socialize. He added that the commercial relations are also on the rise, 100 billion trade volume. Bilateral projects said they are being implemented and everything is going according to plan. He added that they are actively cooperating on regional security issues in Syria. Putin also expressed his condolence to Erdogan over the death of 16 Turkish citizens who were killed in a twin vessel fire in the Kerch Strait. On Monday, Erdogan in return conveyed condolence for the deceased Russian citizens in the incident. The vessels together were carrying 31 sailors, including 16 Turkish citizens. Reporting for iAfrica TV, I am Al-Hassan Sise.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for you on the World Today Evening Bulletin. For more on these and more stories, log on to our website, iAfrica.tv. I am your presenter, Fatmata Jaju. Bye for now.
Beni la fen, beni la kun, ala le mon sobe mankan na la moy. Beni la fen, beni la kun, ala le mon dale mankan na la moy. Sorpresa só Ave mancão Alale mametia só Ave mancão Alale moluso Be mancão Alale moluso Be mancão Kadulu que famatie Kadulu ki fintanti Beni la fen Beni la kun Ala le moluda be mankana na la moy Beni la fen Beni la kun la jama kosa.
Any cover.